Hello everyone out there in YouTube world. I'm just going to do a video document of this brand spanking used guitar I got for Christmas. It is a romantic era guitar, and I'm guessing it's made anywhere between 1840 to 1890. It is not labeled, there's no identifying marks, but I can explain where I come up with that. So first off, what is a romantic guitar? Well, it's of the late classical romantic era when guitar was starting to be born, the modern guitar. They have much smaller bodies like this one, but there's another couple of things that are very characteristic of a romantic guitar, and that is the ice cream cone shaped heel joint and the V joint for the headstock. Modern guitars use scarf joints. So clearly it's very old. I'm going to go over some of the characteristics about it and some of the issues with it. So it came to me, it had two tuning pegs that did not work because the wheels are stripped. And so when I took them out, I realized just how old this guitar is, because most guitars have, even back to the early 20s, any guitars that I have, they have these screw style wheels. These two that were broken were original to the guitar. These are the original tuners for this guitar. There's no extra holes drilled for any mounting screws. So they are the ones, and they were probably made a very long time ago, before machine screws were used for that would go in the post, because this is actually a rolled metal tube that's been soldered and drilled, and they've pinned them together. So I did no damage to the guitar. I just unpinned these, removed these, and put more modern ones in so that you can tune it up. The interesting thing about this guitar is that it is, I believe, a left-handed from original, because I think this is the original nut. It does jut out a bit on one spot, but the joints just look like they've never been apart, and the tone of this piece of wood matches what I see on the tip of the heel. You can see it's not quite the same color as the fingerboard, but it does match that. So I think it's original. I think this guitar was originally a left-handed guitar. You can see there's a lot of damage to the bout where your arm goes over when you play left-handed, and there's starting to be a little loosening of it here. So my theory is, when it got refretted, it was refretted by somebody that was a right-hander, but originally it was a left-hander. And the nut actually never got changed over, because when the strings are out, you can see that they get bigger as you go. There's some cracks in the face. They're not flat, but nothing is loose. They're stable. I don't believe this is the original bridge. I don't believe the person that refretted it is the person that did this either. It's not really, really cleanly machined, but it's a pretty nice job. I believe the ivory saddle may have been original, and I believe these are original. And I think it had a smaller bridge on it, but of course, this guitar through its life has been dogged by the same problem, is that it has a back bow, meaning the neck is bowing this way, negating or making it necessary to have a higher bridge. So this bridge is probably taller than the original to make it playable. And if you look at the width of the fingerboard on the ends, you can see how thick it is and how thin it is in the middle. So this has been backbowed so bad that it was unplayable, sanded flat, and refretted. The person that did the fretting, there's evidence that they were not that skilled a craftsman, and a lot of the frets are loose, particularly in the upper and lower frets. I guess where you get into thinner, they would have cut their own grooves, but this guitar would have originally had bar frets. So these openings are a little bit bigger than should be. I don't know how they filled them, but I don't think they did it right, because the there's some frets popping up, so it buzzes a bit. But other than that, I think it's going to be a really nice playable guitar when I secure the frets and do a fret leveling. It is a spruce top. The back and the sides, I believe, are birch. It's hard to tell. They have this kind of rosewood look to them. That's been done with these lines. It is rosewood on the inside, so it's a plywood back and plywood. You can't really see from here. It's plywood back and plywood sides, which was the norm back then. So there's rosewood on the inner layer, and I believe birch on the outer layer. I think it's a 2-ply sides, and I believe the back is a 3-ply. So it's rosewood, birch, and birch. I think. It could be something else. I believe the neck to be mahogany, and I believe the headstock is also birch. I don't know what kind of wood they used to replace this bridge. It's quite pretty. It's got a purpley look to it. So there's no markings in it. No way to be sure what country it's made in and who made it, but wedged inside it was an old flinch card that dates to like 1903, when I did a deep dive into flinch cards. The only ones I saw with this brownish color were ones that were released in the 1903, 1910 era. So that's evidence that the guitar has been in the United States for a very long time. It was bought in an auction sale by a reseller that was sold on eBay. I bought it on eBay. So all I know is it was shipped to me from Cincinnati. These cards were made in Kalamazoo. But I'm guessing by the crudeness of the tuning keys, the machine heads, the way they were built. By the way, these repairs are very interesting. When you see how the person that had replaced these two had done them, you can see the old head is kind of flat and old machining. But these, I don't know where they came from, but they've got this peen style inside where you peen the edges to make it stick, which is very interesting. Anyway, so I believe that's an old repair too. But I believe that those kind of tuning machines started coming around in the 1850s, and probably by 1890 everybody was using the modern style. So that's why I figure that's where this guitar was made. But certainly I'm not an expert. If you know more about these things than me, please post a comment about some information that I could learn, and I'd be happy to hear it. My plans for the guitar, of course, is to just leave it the way it is, except for clean up the frets and make it playable. There's been somebody that's gone with some sort of polymer, some